I'm Billy Sims at Billy Sims BBQ. Chris Lincoln with me, Boomer.
And what better way to open our Oklahoma-Texas preview show here on Oklahoma Sportscene than with Billy Sims, the 1978 Senator Heisman Trophy winner. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Glad you joined us here at Billy's newest restaurant in Tulsa at 61st and Sheridan. Fun and enjoy the best barbecue. Take a look now at what's coming up on our Oklahoma Sportscene show for you. Of course, it's a big game Saturday, the 120th meeting of the Sooners and the Longhorns. Right now, it is Oklahoma trailing in the series, 63, 51-5. But since 2000, OU was dominated, winning 17 of the games, UT 8, including last year. OU pulling out that incredible 34-30 comeback victory. Here's our star-studded guest list now for Oklahoma Sportscene OU Texas preview. Sooners legendary Hall of Fame football coach Barry Switzer just celebrated his birthday October 5th. Turned 87, still going strong. He'll talk to us about his Texas experiences. Tulsa World Sports columnist Berry Tramel has covered 33 OU Texas games, has some of his favorites, and breaks down this year's game. Little Joe Washington, one of the Sooners' legendary players, reflects on his OU career and his perfect 4-0 record against Texas. Joining us on the set here at Billy Sims will be John Roush, the All-American guard, joins us here to talk about his memories of the game. He also never lost to the Longhorns. And Prep Head comes Michael Knight, as always, be here with us to wrap up high school football. Look ahead to this week in Oklahoma Prep football. Wrapping up football, what a wild week it was. West Virginia, of course, destroyed Oklahoma State 38-14. Had to give the Cowboys a grade F there. OU was outrushed, listen to this, 389-36. OSU was just 15-13 since the 22 season. Some big losses. Cowboys ranked 130th, by the way. That's last in total defense nationally in college football. What a shocker in Fayetteville. What a great win for Coach Sam Pittman. How about them Hogs? Arkansas beats Tennessee, number 4 in the nation, 19-14. Give the Hogs, they earned it an A. They're now 4-2 on the season. An F for Tulsa. Boy, TU got hammered by the Army. Black Knights came into the first trip ever to Tulsa, outscored the home team 42-0 after a 7-7 start. The Army Knights are 5-0. Tulsa drops to 2-4 and winless 0-2 in the American Athletic Conference. OU, of course, is open, getting ready for Texas. Take a look now this week on the schedule. The Sooners, of course, have the headline game. They'll be taking on the Texas Longhorns. Everybody else in the group here has open dates. Oklahoma State, Tulsa, Arkansas, all have open dates. Circle that date. Last Saturday, October the 5th, it was chaos in college football. 5 of the top-ranked teams in the AP National Poll, all losing on the road. First time that's happened since 2007. It all started, of course, Vanderbilt knocking off number 1 Alabama, 40-35. Vanderbilt had lost 60 straight to Alabama and had been 0-60 against AP top 5 teams all time. Arkansas scored the game's final 16 points, coming back in Fayetteville to shock number 4 Tennessee, 19-14. How about this? Home Mizzou, undefeated, goes to College Station. A&M puts a beating on them. 25th ranked Aggies beating Missouri 41-10. Out on the West Coast, Washington, in a rematch of last year's national championship game, got a little bit of revenge. They beat number 10 Michigan 27-17. And so sorry, Lincoln Riley. He's now out of the top 25 as Minnesota beat USC 24-17. It has left just 12 FBS teams unbeaten after 6 weeks. The mighty SEC, only Texas has not lost a game. There are a few surprise perfect teams like Army and Navy, both 5-0. In college undefeated teams by conference, the Big Ten has Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana. The Big 12, here's a surprise, unbeaten teams BYU and Iowa State. American Atlantic Coast Conference, Miami and Pittsburgh. In the AAC, Army, Navy. Then the Conference USA, Liberty's unbeaten. As mentioned, SEC only Texas unbeaten in conference play. Obviously, the Associated Press National College Poll took a big beating. Texas jumps up 1 spot to take over the number 1 spot, heading to OU Texas on Saturday. Ohio State moved up 1-2. Oregon moved up 3 spots to number 3. Penn State jumped 3 spots to number 4. Georgia 5. Tennessee fell 4 spots to 8. Iowa State, the highest ranked Big 12 team, they're now tied for 11th with Notre Dame. LSU heading to Fayetteville this weekend. They are now 13 in the poll. A&M dropped for 10 spots to 15. Went up 10 spots after beating Missouri. Missouri, by the way, fell 12 spots to 21. Oklahoma is tied for 18th with Indiana. FC Tulsa soccer update for you. FC Tulsa hosted El Paso Locomotive this past Saturday, lost 1-0 thanks to a handball foul call that led to this penalty kick. Tulsa goalkeeper Johan Peranda did a great job, made the save but El Paso scored on the rebound. That was the only goal in the match. FC Tulsa heads now into a week 31, 8, 12, and 10 record, 34 points. That has them in 9th place. United Soccer League standings, 1 spot out of the playoffs. FC Tulsa has a trip to North Carolina this Wednesday, the 9th. Before returning home, they have the final 3 regular season game matches, all at One Oak Field. The 12th, New Mexico United on the 19th, Hartford Atlantic. October 26th, the regular season wraps up with Monterey Bay. NBA preseason underway. The Oklahoma City Thunder come to Tulsa Thursday night, hosting a pro team from New Zealand. That's October 10th. BOK tip-off at 7 p.m. Ice Oilers season opener. Their training camp is open for the 2024 season this past Monday. This Saturday, the Oilers will host their first ever preseason game in the Wee Street Ice Center. That's Saturday. The puck drops at 7:05. Be there, you'll enjoy that. Oilers open the regular season at BOK Center Saturday, October the 19th. Again, Coach Rob Murray will be on the show with us next week. Coming up next, the King, Barry Switzer, talks Oklahoma, Texas.
Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Like what?
How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs?
Okay, how?
We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
So when?
Every day.
Where?
Wherever you want. Online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service. Loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Hello, Tulsa. Shields All Sports Store is opening October 19th at the Woodland Hills Mall. Join us in the parking lot for the grand opening party at 7 a.m. with doors officially opening at 9:30. Step inside to the ultimate retail experience. Shop your favorite brands, meet our Shields experts, and enjoy entertainment like a Ferris wheel or Fuzzywigs Candy Factory. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Shields has something for you. Join us for Shields grand opening on October 19th.
The Tulsa Oilers return to the ice for another ice-melting year.
He shoots, he scores!
Saturday, October 19th at the BOK Center. The first 1,000 fans get a free Tulsa Oilers flag. Don't miss out on experiencing the ultimate in fast-paced entertainment.
It's turned over and going the other way.
Get your season tickets now starting as low as $19 per month. You'll get 36 smash-mouth, hard-hitting, pulse-pounding home games.
Ooh, I can feel that one.
If that glass doesn't rattle you, the season ticket price will. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
And they're back inside the newest Billy Sims BBQ here in 61st and Sheridan in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thank Billy and the crew for having us up here. And of course, OU Texas Week wasn't special enough. It's also the week of a very special birthday. This past Saturday, October 5th, the King. Coach Barry Switzer turned 87. Did a video Zoom call with the coach from his home in Norman, Oklahoma. Asked him how he feels at 77 years.
I can tell it's going downhill and going downhill faster than it did at 85. I really can. I had a pacemaker defibrillator put in my chest right here. Yeah. And I can tell there's a difference. I mean, it really is. And I'm not saying it's negatively. I think they put it in there to help me get a few more years in, and I hope it does. But my goal now is to make 90 plus. So I'm going to have to work at that. This might help me do that.
All right, special week, OU Texas Week. Coach, you've been so much a part of that since the 70s. And what makes this week, this game, so special?
Well, I tell you, Chris, I've watched this game since 1956. I was a junior in college, and I was at University of Arkansas, and we always played Texas after they played Oklahoma, the week after they played them. And so we always looked at this game as a team, then as a coaching staff. I looked at it when I was on Frank Boyle's staff. I joined his staff in 1960. I looked at the film of Texas all the time and every year. And so I knew a lot about the OU Texas series because of that. So every game played from 50s on. And so I knew when I came here in 1966 with Jim McKenzie was hired as defensive coordinator from Oklahoma. Doug Dickey went to Tennessee. Hayden Fry went to SMU off our staff, and they all asked me to go with them. I knew I was going to go with Jim McKenzie. He was my mentor, and I was close to him. And when he got this job, we were both surprised and happy that it opened, and they hadn't beaten Texas in 8 years. And think about that. Oklahoma hadn't beaten Texas in 8 years. We got the job, and we came here and beat them the first year with the same players. And it's all, I've always said games played in 3 areas. It's physical, mental, and psychological. And in the game, you can get everybody can do the physical, get the team in condition to play. And the mental part is knowing your assignments, offensively and defensively, how you play your position and all. But the third is played from the neck up. And that's how you approach it, the game and all, and getting people in the right places to play is a key. But all that's coaching. And but the psychological of coaching is more important than probably anything you can do. And we did that, and we were able to beat Texas our first year with the same players. And it was it's really exciting around here for the people that hadn't seen that happen. And it jumped Jim McKenzie off to having a winning season, and us having a winning season. We beat Nebraska on national television too that year, and beat them 10-9 here at Norman. They were undefeated. So think about that. We had that type of year the first year here, and Jim McKenzie was named Coach of the Year.
In his 16 seasons as the Sooners head football coach, Berry was 9-5-2 against Texas. The first tie was 6-6 in 1976 when he botched a true extra point. But it's that 1984 15-15 tie Switzer will never forgive or forget.
Keith Stansbury intercepted the pass, and he slid 3 yards out of bounds in the rain. And the official on that side, I remember that, you used to remember that guy, Bobby was his name, and he called him out of bounds. What the hell are you talking about? He caught it in bounds, fell on his back, and pressed it to his chest and slid out of bounds. If it had been an era where you had replay, without a doubt, it's a touchdown. From me, interception, and with taking the ball out, put it on 20, taking a knee, and the game had been over and we'd won it. They kicked the field goal to tie it for that next play. So we were screwed out of that. The 2 games really should have been ours, but those 2 games, and that would give me the same record I had against Nebraska, 11-5. But that didn't happen, and you always regret those things happening. And in your career, you look back on. I never look back at the wins. In my first game as a head coach against Texas, I hung half 100 on them, and I went back and I look at all of them. I always think about not the wins, but the losses.
Coach, you reach that stage of life where people start wondering, okay, what's your legacy? How do you want to be remembered, Berry?
I don't know. I've just I've added to our tradition at Oklahoma, just like all the Bob Stoops and all of us have done. We've all left our imprint, and I think that that's the way it should be remembered. My players, I won because of my players. My assistant coaches took us all, and I've always said that. So I surround yourself with good people, and good things will happen, and that's what I've done. And I'm talking about players and coaches. And I was able to do that, especially in the 70s. That's why we were the winningest team in college football in the 70s. We won more games than anybody. And we dominated. And we won 9 consecutive Big 8 conference championships. And we were well, I'll have to say this. I did the right thing before anybody else was doing it. That's what I'll be remembered as, because I was recruiting all players, the best players at all positions. I was playing a black quarterback in 1972. Kerry Jackson, we recruited from Galveston Ball, been a great quarterback. And I've said that, we know who Steve Davis is to now because of what happened. Because Kerry Jackson was ruled ineligible, I think, on the 72.
Yeah.
And Steve Davis was probably a 5th string quarterback by then. Jackson was a great athlete and great player. But he, at one time, as a freshman in 72, Kerry Jackson was our leading rusher on the football team and playing him as a freshman. But anyway, that's I was doing that before anybody else did. Southwest Conference wasn't recruiting black players, the black athlete, and the Southeastern Conference damn sure wasn't. And I was recruiting black athletes all over the country, and that's why Oklahoma was dominant in that era because of our doing the right thing, recruiting all the best players at all positions.
And that's why Barry Switzer will always be the king. Again, happy birthday, Coach. We continue our OU Texas Week preview with a real historian of the sport, Berry Tramel. He's been to covered 33 OU Texas games. He's straight ahead, right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Come right back.
Hello, Tulsa. Shields All Sports Store is opening October 19th at the Woodland Hills Mall. Join us in the parking lot for the grand opening party at 7 a.m. with doors officially opening at 9:30. Step inside to the ultimate retail experience. Shop your favorite brands, meet our Shields experts, and enjoy entertainment like a Ferris wheel or Fuzzy-Wig's Candy Factory. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Shields has something for you. Join us for Shields' grand opening on October 19th.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Well, Berry Tramel has been covering sports in Oklahoma for some 45 years. He began in the Norman Transcript, then of course for years and years the Daily Oklahoman, and now recently with the Tulsa World. He has covered 33 OU Texas games. Who better to look back at some of the history of the great rivalry than Berry Tramel? Let's start with Berry. We're talking about why this is one of the very best rivalries in all of sports.
I think it starts with the tradition. You know, it goes back almost a century with a neutral site. It's the Texas State Fair. The setting is remarkable. Nothing really like it. As many fans outside the stadium as inside the stadium. And they've been doing this since 1929, which is, the kind of tradition that's really unheard of. Something like the Iron Bowl in Alabama. It was a fabulous rivalry. They didn't even start playing each other again until mid-century. They got a feud in 1906 or sometime and quit playing. So Oklahoma, Texas has stamina. It's got staying power. It's many of the same elements that your father and your grandfather and your great-grandfather experienced, you can experience too. The game's different, the style, the strategy, all that. The players are bigger, but the atmosphere is the same.
So Berry, you covered 33 OU Texas games. What are some of your best memories?
One of my most stirring memories was my first one in 1990. OU lost 14-13. R.D. Lasher missed a 46-yard field goal at the buzzer, just drifted a little bit left. But I was stunned when I went down to the field for the last 5 minutes. I was just stunned at the environment. It was unlike anything I had experienced anywhere else, including OU games, OU home games or road games or wherever. And just the constant atmosphere, you know, when somebody's always cheering and someone's always dejected every single play, and you could just feel the electricity almost physically on you. And then some of the great comebacks we've seen, you know, the Kyler Murray year when OU looked dead, down 21, and he brought them back for a tie, ended up losing 48-45. The Caleb Williams year when just a stunning comeback. Even last year, Dylan Gabriel taking the Sooners the length of the field to win it at the end. I'm always, I'm always stunned at the emotion, the it truly is a wide world of sports moment, right? You know, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. I don't see the joy in winners at any other game that I see in Dallas, and I don't see the dismay at losing that I see in Dallas, whichever side it happens to be.
Take you back to 1970, a dramatic switch, pretty much game week. Barry Switzer talked Chuck Fairbanks and, hey, let's go to the wishbone. Texas having success with it. Let's put it on Texas. Texas beat OU 41-9 that day, but it changed a lot of things for OU football.
It did. You know, the thing to remember about that game, and Switzer says it to this day, he was not discouraged at 41-9. OU moved the ball on Texas that day, and that was a great Texas team. And OU moved the ball. They just made, a bunch of turnovers and mistakes and got beat by a better team. But he came away from that game confident that the Sooners had done the right thing. And, of course, they had. The wishbone for the next 20 years terrorized college football, primarily through the Sooners, but with Alabama and others. So, yeah, it was not the glorious debut you'd want from an offense, but it was very encouraging. And it was, it was groundbreaking for what it did for Sooner football. And it also came after an off week, which is why they did it that week. Who knows what Brent Venables might have in store for the Longhorns this week.
Yeah, I got involved in this rivalry back in the mid-'70s. One I always remember, 1976, all the allegations, Texas coach Gerald Oil accused Barry Switzer of spying and stuff. And then President Ford showed up the game pregame, and nobody paid much attention to him either. It was quite a scene.
Yeah, it was. And it's a game the Sooners probably didn't have any business being in, but scored late to get the to get 6-6 tie, kick the extra point, and flub the extra point. A little bit of a high snap, not a sure hold. Sooners had to settle for a tie. Very disappointing. But, the 70s, I was a kid in the 70s, and that's, what as a kid is end up what you love the most. So I remember, 74 and 75 were maybe my two favorite OU Texas games ever, and I didn't see either one. They weren't televised. They were only on the radio. So I had to have, the Sooner radio crew bringing it to me, and two epic games. OU wins 16-13 and 24-17, both with breaking fourth quarter ties in the last 5 or 6 minutes. And just the tension over the radio, I can still feel it coming through that big old stereo radio speakers that we had in my house. So, this is a game that evokes memories, no doubt about it.
And I know one Barry Switzer will never forget and never forgive the rain game in 1984 when they thought they had the interception in the game in the end zone. The officials overruled it, the wrong call, and Barry's still mad to this day.
Yeah, that's the fun game where it's raining all day, just a downpour, just miserable conditions. And Switzer put on a hat just to keep his head from, getting swamped. And he put on a Beat Texas hat, which is, you don't see coaches with that much clarity in their viewpoint these days. But, bad call. Frank Broyles called that game for ABC. And Keith Jackson, of course, I love Frank Broyles. What a heck of a, not just a coach and athletic director, but a heck of a commentator for ABC, the voice of college football. So, yeah, and then in 82, of course, was the Marcus Dupree game where Dupree sort of debuted and had the long touchdown run. So lots to get excited about when you think about OU Texas memories.
All right, let's focus on this Saturday, the 2024 version. Texas, a 2-touchdown favorite. Texas ranked number 1. And OU, first time ever to start a freshman quarterback in the game.
Yeah, both defenses are really good. Texas offense vastly superior. So, the OU defense is going to have to do yeoman's work in this game. But the Sooners do look better since Michael Hawkins took over these last 6 quarters. Down at Auburn, he made a couple of big plays. That's what I think OU is going to have to do. They're not good enough to sustain drives. They're not going to have 4 touchdown drives of 75 yards. That's not going to happen. But can they produce a couple of big plays like they did at Auburn? the long touchdown, or not, wasn't a touchdown, but the long pass to J.J. Hester setting up a touchdown. The 48-yard scramble by Hawkins for a touchdown. They need big plays, I think, to move the ball on Texas and sustain, point production. So that's the key. Can OU's defense hold down Texas? The answer is yes, but can they hold them into the teens? If they do, they got a chance to win. In the 20s, it's getting dicey. If it's in the 30s, it's over. That's the way I see the game.
Thank you, Barry. When we come back, one of my favorite Sooners, little Joe Washington, joins us on the program. Talk about the OU-Texas game, what it meant to him. By the way, he was 4-0, never lost to Texas. That's next, straight ahead on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Like what?
How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs?
Okay, how?
We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
So when?
Every day.
Where?
Wherever you want. Online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service. Loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
The Tulsa Oilers return to the ice for another ice-melting year.
He shoots, he scores.
Saturday, October 19th at the BOK Center. The first 1,000 fans get a free Tulsa Oilers flag. Don't miss out on experiencing the ultimate in fast-paced entertainment.
It's turned over and going the other way.
Get your season tickets now starting as low as $19 per month. You'll get 36 smash-mouth, hard-hitting, pulse-pounding home games.
Ooh, I can feel that one.
If that glass doesn't rattle you, the season ticket price will. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Hello, Tulsa. Shields All Sports Store is opening October 19th at the Woodland Hills Mall. Join us in the parking lot for the grand opening party at 7 a.m. with doors officially opening at 9:30. Step inside to the ultimate retail experience. Shop your favorite brands, meet our Shields experts, and enjoy entertainment like a Ferris wheel or Fuzzywigs Candy Factory. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Shields has something for you. Join us for Shields' grand opening on October 19th.
Back on Oklahoma Sports Scene with little Joe Washington, the two-time All-American, Heisman Trophy runner-up, two-time national champion, two-time All-American, and the guy who was 4-0 against Texas. I know you're awful proud of that record.
Yes, I am, because that's exactly what that means. You see?
Yeah.
Hey, and of course, people goes into a conniption fit when they see me do this, and I say it's okay, it's all right, it's nothing derogatory other than being derogatory to Texas, but being a Texican myself, hey, I'm not afraid of anything orange, not at all.
1972, 27-0 OU. 73, 52-13, Switzer's first year as head coach. 74, tight fit, 16-13. 75, 24-17. Those are two, of course, national championship seasons. What are some of your greatest memories of those battles with the Longhorns?
Well, it for me, just coming there that first year and seeing the spectacle, the extravaganza of Texas OU, walking through the crowd, the state fair. I tell you what, it was one of the most unbelievable experiences I ever had. And walking into the stadium, the playing area, you walk right next to each other. It's no Texas comes down first, Oklahoma second, or Oklahoma second, Texas first. No. You walk down that tunnel and that ramp together, right next to each other. Now, I know, of course, during these days now, there's no way that stuff can happen. It'll be so much jawing going on. They probably have to get the National Guard to come in to break up the fight. But during our day, hey, we were too busy, concentrating on what we were going to do. And that's the way it was. I didn't know pay attention to who was walking next to me one way or another. I had, business to take care of to make sure that when I come back to Texas after the season, hey, I have not lost to Texas. So, hey, I can say for sure every time I go back to Texas during those days, it was under the cloak of darkness because of beating them 4-0. So that was okay. But, the intensity of that particular game and the closeness of most of those games we had with them were games that I appreciated. It was always hot. I mean, it was hot and humid during that particular time, and it was always a tough football game. I remember, during those particular games, one of the monikers Coach Royal gave me was "smoke through a keyhole." So, that's another thing that came out of that. Coach that I respected, to the utmost, and he gives me a nickname that I think is pretty fitting and pretty unique. Oh, so hey, he goes up another couple of notches in my book and everything. But it was one of those games that you remember every play. And my senior year, the one play that stands out the most is when they called the quick kick. And I'm thinking, and everybody else is in the huddle looking and thinking and wondering, has Coach lost his mind? We're going to quick kick? Even though we've been practicing this, during the week, and I could do it, I'm thinking, holy crap, Batman. we're backed up inside the 5-yard line. And it's third down, of course. So we always quick click on third down. And sure enough, we call it. We go to the line of scrimmage. Steve pitches the ball to me. I turn and I kick it. I hit it. And to be honest with you, Chris, there's no such thing really as a perfect kick. But let me tell you what, it was excellent. And when I kicked it, I said, oh my goodness, I hit that good. I mean, it was almost like hitting that wedge, that little sand wedge, pure, for 100 yards. Oh my goodness. And it kept rolling and rolling. And Tinker and Billy Brooks were down the field, escorting it and trying to make sure they get every inch out of it. And I tell you what, that was a crucial play in the game because it put them back, inside the 20-yard line. And with the Selman brothers and a few other guys, Tank and all the great defensive backs we had, we knew it was going to be a little tough for them to go, the length of the field in that length of time. So that was a big play.
Well, little Joe Longhorns come into this game Saturday, undefeated, nationally ranked in the top 5, favored by almost a touchdown and a half. And you just wondered, does OU have much of a chance in this game? It doesn't seem like odds or any of that stuff make any difference in it. A game like this is such a rivalry.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It doesn't matter who's ranked number 1 or who's 2 or whatever. It has nothing to do with this particular game. And I hope these kids, understand, hey, this is bragging rights. Bragging rights to be able to go home and go across the state line, whenever you want to now because you just beat Texas. And I was really fortunate, to have that, that string of, beating these guys 4 times, which is really something special to say. And I just really hope they're ready to play. They've had a week off. I think, they understand, pretty much what this game means. And of course, it's been times when each one has been ranked, in the top. Oklahoma team has been ranked 1 or Texas has been ranked 1. And it didn't end up that way. So I know for a fact that is the way this game goes. Hey, and first and second of all, that football ain't round, so you don't know what kind of bounces it's going to take, and especially in that game for sure. Plus, it's hey, sometimes if you lose, if you win and the circumstances are great, and if you ask coach in a nice, responsible way, maybe you can stay and with your girlfriend, go get a corn dog or something. You know what I mean? Never happened to me, but that's all right.
Oh, good, Joe. Hey, thanks for all the memories, my friend. And of course, especially in OU Texas Week, Boomer Sooner.
Boomer Sooner. Enjoy it. Thanks, Chris. Good seeing you, man.
All right, right back on more Oklahoma Sports Scene. Stay right there.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park continues into December with plenty of winning primetime action. Top Oklahoma bred athletes are featured Oklahoma Classics Night, Friday, October 18th. The $1 Million Night of Stakes Racing features the best the state has to offer. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Wednesday through Saturday. First race nightly, 6:30 p.m. Visit remingtonpark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations.
And welcome back to our OU Texas preview show here at the Billy Sims BBQ at 61st and Sharon. We're joined now by All-American offensive lineman at OU, John Roush. We coached other national championship days. John had some great times back in the 70s. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, too.
Looks like you can play right now, and by God, they could probably use you, John.
Well, I mean, I knew I was over when P-Run was bigger than me.
Well, what did you play at? What was your weight when you played guard?
252 was the highest I ever weighed.
And these offensive lines in high school now are bigger than that, right?
Oh, 300 plus.
Yeah.
You got to be 300.
Yeah.
If they're going to recruit you.
So how did a Colorado kid end up at OU?
Well, Eddie Crowder didn't think I was a player. He stood my folks up at my homecoming. They were supposed to come, and they never showed. So, you know, I knew. I mean, and there were so many drugs in Boulder.
Yeah.
And I saw so many athletes, you know. I think on the Skyriders tour, I said I saw so many Colorado athletes turn hippie.
Yeah. Well, that's the atmosphere out there. It's more than the high altitude.
Yes.
I'll tell you.
Yes, yes.
Well, John was number 62. He played offensive guard for OU, 72 through 74. And Colorado native we mentioned for you, but Gene Hoshaver was the guy, our line coach up there that recruited you, right?
Yes, started as my junior year.
Uh-huh.
And we just fell in love with him.
And you couldn't come at a better time for OU. What a great series that was, huh?
Oh my gosh. It was, losing one game in 4 years.
Let's talk about some of these games, 72 to 74. And of course, focusing on OU Texas now. What was it like for a Colorado kid? Did you get that involved, or was that big a deal, the rivalry to you?
Well, I think there was more Texas players than Oklahoma players when I was I was a freshman. And I think we had 105 kids on our freshman squad, a lot of walk-ons. We were undefeated as freshmen, but it never bothered me. There was only 2 of us from Colorado as freshmen, but Dean Unruh, Dan Rusker, those were the 2 starters from Colorado. And so I think Colorado, the recruiter said, well, you know, being from out of state, you're not going to get a chance to play or something.
Yeah.
And everybody gets a chance. Not everybody's ready.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this OU Texas game.
Yes.
72, shut them out 27-0. That probably had something to do with the summons and that defense.
Yes.
Group,
but
huh?
in 72, I was redshirted.
So what
during that game.
Okay.
And Doug English, who was like 6'4", 2 ton.
Oh my gosh.
Just tore up our left guards and became the MVP, defensive player of the game, because it was on national television.
Yeah.
He was a sophomore. He's my age.
Golly.
And so they decided to make a change. And I was like 15 when they took me out of redshirt. And I started against Colorado. 1970 national television at Boulder.
Wow. 1973, that was 52-13. What a beating that was for the Sooners.
Okay, I got to tell you this.
Yeah.
So during that preparation week,
Yeah.
they figured out that the safety was keying on our center. Did you know that?
No.
So when you have a play action pass in the wishbone, it starts out like the wishbone, and then Steve pulls it out and throws it. And so the safety's key, when our center didn't fire out, he came forward.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here it is, 73, the first quarter. I'm getting my head knocked off. We're looking up in the press box. Run the play, run, because we had set up a specific play for that.
Yeah.
And we kept saying, oh, Kyle Davis and I, we're looking up, run the play, run the play. Well, okay. First play, second quarter. We ran the play. Touchdown. 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 And I don't even think I played the whole game. I think everybody played.
Golly.
Oh my God! It was a touchdown, and then I don't think the next week that safety was started.
Yeah, that's right. Your last year, 74, tight fit, 16-13.
13.
Prevailed.
Yes.
Never lost to Texas, did you?
Never lost. When it was 13-13, I think Jerry Arnold asked me the snap count. Well, Texas had 6 different defenses against the wishbone. 6 different defenses, and half the field was one defense. The other half was a separate defense,
Really?
a different one.
Wow.
Okay, so, I mean, unbelievable. And so Jerry asked me the snap count, but this time Doug English is head up with me.
Oh,
I wasn't going to tell him the snap count. And we go offside, so we're starting on our 15-yard line.
Yeah.
And we drove it down, and Tony D came in and kicked it right through the goalpost.
Well, John, what about this year? Texas, #1, undefeated, favored now by 2 touchdowns over the Sooners. How does OU win this football game?
Like they did last year. And, I mean, they're going to keep believing.
Yeah.
I think we got it back after last week, and it was just like last year. Texas played, kicked Alabama, basically.
Yeah, right.
Okay? Yeah. And, man, I was just hoping we could just not be embarrassed like we were 49-0. Oh my gosh. I was just hoping that, last year. And if we didn't, just like Auburn. I mean, I turned it off, and I was kind of saying some things against Riley.
I understand, yes.
Okay? And all of a sudden, Barrett called, and we were in the car. He says, we're winning 27-21.
You never know, especially with this game, right, John?
Yeah, you never know.
Great to have you again, John.
Thank you.
Good to see you, my friend. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, bro.
John Roush, All-American offensive lineman for the Sooners back in the 70s. Don't leave us yet. We come right back. Michael Knight's going to join us here, talk high school football. The Owasso Rams are really special this year.
Hello, Tulsa. Shields All Sports Store is opening October 19th at the Woodland Hills Mall. Join us in the parking lot for the grand opening party at 7 a.m. with doors officially opening at 9:30. Step inside to the ultimate retail experience. Shop your favorite brands, meet our Shields experts, and enjoy entertainment like a Ferris wheel or Fuzzy-Wig's Candy Factory. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Shields has something for you. Join us for Shields' grand opening on October 19th.
Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Like what?
How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs?
Okay, how?
We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
So when?
Every day.
Where?
Wherever you want. Online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service. Loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park continues into December with plenty of winning primetime action. Top Oklahoma bred athletes are featured Oklahoma Classics Night, Friday, October 18th. The $1 Million Night of Stakes Racing features the best the state has to offer. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Wednesday through Saturday. First race nightly, 6:30 p.m. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Mark Knight joins us on the set here, our weekly recap of high school football around the state of Oklahoma. I do mean around the state of Oklahoma. PrepRoadZone.com covers it all, of course. And Michael, you were busy last week traveling.
Yeah, we went out to Oklahoma City for a big game in Class 2A1. Millwood and Jones, that's number 2 versus number 3. And before I knew it, it was 24-0 Millwood. Ooh. Jones shot themselves in the foot with a couple turnovers early. Millwood was able to capitalize, and by the end of the first quarter, they were up by 24. The thing that impressed me the most about Millwood, now this is a team that's made it to the state championship game the last 2 years. They came up short to Washington both years, but the thing that impresses me the most is their quarterback, CJ Turnbull. He's a junior now. He's been starting for him since the very first game of his freshman year, so he has as much experience as almost anybody in Oklahoma. And it feels like to me that he's taken the next step this year, really becoming one of the top junior quarterbacks in the state. And I think that if he continues to trend in that direction, Millwood has not only a chance to make it back to Edmond to compete for the 2A1 title, they could end up seeing Washington again once they get there for the 3rd straight year. And maybe they trade those 2 silver balls they got the last 2 years for a gold one this year.
Mike, I stayed in town here. I went to Union's homecoming game. Here's a tip. Don't schedule a Wausau anymore for homecoming. Boy, they are rolling. I'm looking back again here, Michael. They opened the season, of course, beating Bixby 40-21, beat Jinx 42-24, beat Sand Springs 40-17, Broken Arrow 49-21, and then last week Union dominated 48-14. They're the real deal, looks like.
Yeah, and that's what we said at the beginning of the year. Like, once they beat Bixby and Jinx back-to-back weeks, it's like, okay, this is the new top dog.
Yeah, right.
There's no question about it. Coming into the season, you thought they had a chance to be pretty good, but then they had some of those unknowns. We talked about the sophomore quarterback. He's obviously passed every single test. For them to be, not only to win these games, but to win them the way they've done it, it reminds you of what I talked about this last week. It reminds you of what Bixby was the last several years.
Yeah.
It reminds you of what Union and Jinx have been in the past. Just a team that absolutely dominates from start to finish. And if you make one mistake, they're going to capitalize immediately. And just like that, you're going to be down by 2 or 3 touchdowns and the game's over.
Their offensive line is really impressive at Owasso.
Yeah, both sides of the line of scrimmage, I think, are really good. And obviously it helps when you have guys that are going to be playing power forward football at the next level. Riker Half, who's headed to Oklahoma State. Blake Cherry, who's headed to Arkansas. On the defensive line, they have Taj Overton, who's one of the top defensive linemen in the state's 2026 class. That's for juniors. And, they set the tone on the line of scrimmage, and then everything else falls into place.
We had a couple of blowout games, but there were some really close games around the state last week, too.
Yeah, you look at Class 4A, defending champion Blanchard. I've been talking about 4A for a couple weeks now and how it's a really competitive class. You have Elgin, you have Tuttle, you have Wagner, but we haven't been talking enough about Blanchard. They are the defending champions, and they had a big game against Bethany. They win it 48-44. I'm telling you right now, I've said it for a while now on PrepRedZone.com, Brayson Carter for Blanchard is one of the best football players in the state. He showed it again last week with a huge game, offense, defense, special teams. The kid does it all. helped them win 48-44 over a really good Bethany team. And then down in southern Oklahoma, Plainview and Pauls Valley, those were two undefeated teams, top 5 teams in 3A squaring off. Plainview, before they knew it, they were down 14-0, Chris, and they come back to win 35-34. Pauls Valley scores a late touchdown. They decide, you know what? We're not playing for overtime. We're going for the win. They go for the 2-point conversion, but Shepard Sizemore from Plainview, who's committed to Air Force, one of the top two-way players in Class 3A, he comes up with a huge interception to make sure that the Plainview Indians remain undefeated and a top 5 team in Class 3A.
Hi, Michael. It's the feature games this week in Oklahoma high school football, and where will you be?
Yeah, I'm headed out to, I believe technically it's called Fairfax, Oklahoma, where the Woodland Cougars, who are #1 in Class A2, will take on Hominy. This was a game that I went to last year. It was at Hominy, and it was a game that went down to the wire. Hominy was able to stun them in the final minute with a game-winning touchdown. The officiating, I'm sorry, it wasn't that great in that game. Both sides were very upset.
Yeah.
You know that Woodland is coming into this week remembering what happened last year. Woodland has been my #1 team in that class from the beginning. They've looked the part. I'm looking forward to seeing them in person. Some other really good games. We mentioned Bethany. They fell to Blanchard, but now they have to bounce back, and they have Tuttle. That district is really tough. We knew it was going to be tough coming in, but that's a big bounce back game for them. And then Millwood, who I just saw, they have to go on the road and face an Oklahoma Christian school team that's undefeated, but somewhat untested so far. They're going to get their first big test as the Millwood Falcons come to town.
Didn't see many 6A games on the top schedule.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, look, you're in district play now, and there's some good games in the higher classes, but when you're talking about the best games this week, I feel like they're more in the smaller classes just because you have teams that are ranked in the top 5, top 6 facing off against one another. You have in 6A1, you have other teams that might be struggling, and so you have the top teams might be facing off against some of them. So, I mean, that's just what happens sometimes.
PrepRedZone.com. How do you sign up?
Yeah, you can go to PrepRedZone.com. We've been throwing the subscription code all around. You can save 25% by putting NIGHT25 when you go to subscribe. That'll save you 25% off a subscription. Check us out, PrepRedZone.com/Oklahoma. You can follow us on Twitter at PrepRedZoneOK for all of our updates. And then check out our YouTube channel as well for all of our game highlights.
Michael Knight, he's the man for high school football in Oklahoma. We're going to come back with thoroughbred racing in Remington Park and talk about a jockey who trying to win the jockey standings, but he's had a rough start to his career. Apparently he's allergic to horses. That's next.
Hello, Tulsa. Shields All Sports Store is opening October 19th at the Woodland Hills Mall. Join us in the parking lot for the grand opening party at 7 a.m. with doors officially opening at 9:30. Step inside to the ultimate retail experience. Shop your favorite brands, meet our Shields experts, and enjoy entertainment like a Ferris wheel or Fuzzywigs Candy Factory. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Shields has something for you. Join us for Shields grand opening on October 19th.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
The Tulsa Oilers return to the ice for another ice-melting year.
He shoots, he scores!
Saturday, October 19th at the BOK Center. The first 1,000 fans get a free Tulsa Oilers flag. Don't miss out on experiencing the ultimate in fast-paced entertainment.
It's turned over and going the other way.
Get your season tickets now starting as low as $19 per month. You'll get 36 smash-mouth, hard-hitting, pulse-pounding home games.
Ooh, I can feel that one.
If that glass doesn't rattle you, the season ticket price will. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
The Remington Park thoroughbred race season in Oklahoma City is nearing the halfway mark. Let's catch up now with the jockey standings. Richard Lenahan has a feature on a rider who is trying to overcome an early disability. He was allergic to horses.
Remington Park top 5 jockey Harry Hernandez knew he wanted to be a jockey since he was a little kid in Puerto Rico. There was only one problem. At 8 years old, he found out he was allergic to horses.
I always felt good near horses. I was allergic, though. That was something really hard for me. I couldn't be near horses too much because I used to get bad allergies. Like my eyes will get bigger and then my lips will get big and just sneezing, all red.
Hernandez had to take allergy pills just so he could go to the racetrack and watch his father Andy ride in races.
It was something worried. I was asking my dad, how am I going to ride? How am I going to be near horses if I'm allergic? And he always told me, that's going to go away. Don't worry about it. That's not like a seafood thing. He's like, don't worry, you'll be good.
As it turns out, father did know best. Harry no longer had allergies at about 12 years old, and when he came to North America a few years later, he won his first riding title at Turf Paradise in Arizona, and he is at the top of his game at Remington Park. He was on his way to another riding title at Lone Star Park in Grand Prairie, Texas this year, leading the pack, when an accident on the track gave him his worst injuries, 4 broken ribs and a punctured lung.
It was rough because I think about it now and I couldn't breathe. I was trying to breathe and I couldn't breathe and I just kept trying and nothing just came out, no air was coming out, so I was, but at the end of the day, you go back to the hospital and you thank God.
It was at the hospital that Hernandez realized winning was great, but there were more important things in life.
You look to your right and you have your kid and your girlfriend there and you have your family calling and friends, so you realize at the end of the day, you just thank God that you have everything in your health.
After a month of healing, Hernandez is a top 5 rider at Remington Park and has some goals. Leading rider Stuart Elliott is making that tough for everybody in the jockey colony.
And I'll be honest, every rider wants to be a leading rider, but Stuart's a GOAT. Man, that guy is incredible. He's incredible.
Harry Hernandez doing a good job of staying in the top 5 right now, but everyone is chasing Stuart Elliott. He leads the jockey colony with 46 wins. Floyd Wethy next with 22. David Cabrera, a multiple Remington Park leader in the past with 21 wins. Jose Alvarez 4th at 19. Then Harry Hernandez 5th with 17 victories. Next big event night at Remington Park is Oklahoma Classics night. Friday night, October 18th, the big night for the top Oklahoma breds. Stakes races throughout that card and more than $1 million in total purse money. Oklahoma Classics, October 18th. The regular Remington Park racing schedule sees us Wednesday through Saturday, October 9th through October 12th. First race nightly, 6:30 p.m. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
Want to thank the folks here at Billy Sims BBQ, 61st and Sheridan, hosting our OU Texas preview show. Next week, back at Wheat Street Ice Center. Rob Murray will be there, the Oilers coach, to set up the season for us, getting ready to start. Also talk about their new junior Oilers hockey program. And we have a special feature with Little Joe Washington, the story of the silver shoes. Barry Switzer will also be part of that. Join us next week on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Until then, always remember, be a good sport.